Something historic is happening right now, not next year, not in 10 years. Right now, we are living through the fastest transition of wealth in modern history. Fortunes are being positioned, industries are being reshaped, and most people have no idea it's happening. Because while the public is distracted by AI writing poems, making memes, and answering emails, something far more powerful is emerging behind the scenes. A new type of company. Lean, invisible, scalable, relentless. A business run by one human being, supported by an army of autonomous systems. No giant office. No bloated payroll. No endless meetings. No layers of middle management. Just one owner controlling a machine that works 24 hours a day. These are what I call ghost corporations. And if you understand this shift early, you won't just be adapting to the future. You could own a piece of it. Because the next billion-dollar company may not have thousands of employees. It may have one. Today, we're not talking about prompts. We're not talking about gimmicks. We're talking about the macro shift, the collapse of the old business model, the rise of autonomous companies, and how to position yourself before the window closes. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The old model is breaking. For over a century, business growth followed the same formula. Need more output? Hire more people. Need more revenue? Expand the team. Need more scale? Build departments. This model created giants, factories, corporations, global brands, but it came with a hidden cost. Every employee added communication overhead. Every department added friction. Every manager slowed decision-making. Every expansion increased complexity. At a certain size, many companies stop moving fast. They become heavy, slow, expensive, fragile. This is why startups often beat incumbents. Not because they have more money, but because they have less weight. Now imagine removing most of that weight entirely. Imagine customer support that never sleeps. Marketing systems that launch campaigns automatically. Research teams that analyze markets in minutes. Operations systems that coordinate workflows instantly. Finance systems that monitor cash flow nonstop. Product systems that improve based on user behavior. That's not science fiction. That's the direction of modern business architecture. And once that becomes normal, the old model starts to look prehistoric. Chapter 2. AI is not the product. It's the workforce. Most people misunderstand AI. They think it's a tool, like a calculator, like Photoshop, like Google Docs. Useful but limited. That framing is already outdated. AI is evolving into labor. Digital labor. Not consciousness. Not magic. Labor. It can write, sort, classify, summarize, compare, schedule, optimize, respond, monitor, translate, research, and execute workflows. One AI tool is interesting. A network of specialized agents is transformational. Think of it like this. One AI writes copy. Another analyzes conversion rates. Another manages ad bids. Another answers customer messages. Another tracks inventory. Another studies competitors. Another creates reports for the owner. Another coordinates all the others. That isn't one tool. That is a workforce. And when labor becomes software, economics change forever. Because software scales differently than humans. Humans need salaries. Software needs servers. Humans need breaks. Software runs continuously. Humans vary in performance. Software improves through iteration. Humans cap out with time. Software multiplies with demand. This is why so many people are underestimating what comes next. They think AI helps workers. But increasingly, AI replaces functions. And eventually, it replaces departments. Chapter 3. The One-Person Empire. Let's talk about what this means in practice. Imagine one person launching an online business. 10 years ago, they needed a designer, a copywriter, a developer, a customer support rep, a bookkeeper, a marketer, a project manager, maybe even office space. Today, one founder can coordinate autonomous systems to perform most of those roles. Need branding? Generated and refined in hours. Need a website? Built rapidly. Need market research? Analyzed overnight. Need outreach? Personalized at scale. Need customer support? Handled instantly. Need accounting summaries? Delivered every morning. Need product iteration? Driven by user data automatically. Now multiply that by speed. The founder no longer spends weeks building. They spend days. Soon, hours. Their real job changes. They stop being a worker. They become an allocator, a strategist, a system designer, a capital allocator of intelligence. That is the new entrepreneur, not the person doing every task manually, the person orchestrating systems better than everyone else. And this is where wealth concentrates. Because when one person controls output previously requiring 50 people, margins explode. Chapter 4. Why billion-dollar companies will shrink. Many people assume large valuation means large headcount. That used to be true, but valuation comes from leverage, not employee count. If a company can generate massive revenue with tiny operating costs, investors notice. If it can scale globally without massive hiring, investors notice. If it can iterate products faster than traditional firms, investors notice. If it can dominate niches through speed, personalization, and low overhead, investors notice. This is why the next generation of giant companies may look strange. Small teams, massive revenue, minimal bureaucracy, continuous optimization, global reach, tiny physical footprint. The company of the future may feel less like a corporation and more like control center. One operator, several human specialists when needed, hundreds of autonomous processes, thousands of simultaneous outputs. And remember, the market rewards efficiency, not appearances. No customer asks how many employees built a service they love. They care about value, speed, convenience, and price. If a one-person autonomous company delivers at better than a legacy enterprise, the market will choose it every time. Chapter 5. The wealth transfer nobody sees. Historically, wealth shifts during infrastructure changes. Railroads, oil, electricity, the internet, mobile, cloud computing. Every era creates new winners because new infrastructure changes who can compete. That is happening again. Autonomous systems are becoming economic infrastructure, meaning the people who learn to build on top of them early gain asymmetric advantage. They move faster, launch cheaper, experiment more, fail quicker, win sooner. Meanwhile, others stay trapped in the old equation. More effort equals more output. That equation is dying. The new equation is better systems equals more output. This matters because society often notices wealth transfer only after it happens. When companies are already giant, when markets are already captured, when fortunes are already made. Right now, we are in the early phase. Messy, confusing, undervalued, which is exactly where opportunity lives. Chapter 6. What skills actually matter now? If brute force labor loses value, what gains value? 3 categories. 1. Judgment. Knowing what to build. Knowing what market matters. Knowing what signal to trust. Knowing when data lies. Machines can generate options. Humans still choose direction. 2. Taste. What feels premium? What resonates emotionally? What people actually want? In a world of infinite production, quality selection becomes priceless. 3. Systems thinking. How do pieces connect? How do workflows compound? How do you create feedback loops? How do you turn chaos into a machine? This is the skill most people ignore, and it may become the most profitable because the winners won't be the best prompt writers. They'll be the best architects. Chapter 7. How to position yourself before the window closes. So what should you actually do? First, stop seeing AI as entertainment. See it as infrastructure. Second, choose an industry with inefficiency, slow service, high labor cost, poor communication, fragmented processes, repetitive tasks. These sectors are vulnerable to autonomous disruption. Third, build small systems now. Don't wait for perfect tools. Create workflows. Automate research. Automate lead generation. Automate onboarding. Automate reporting. Learn by doing. Fourth, become distribution first. Technology without attention is invisible. Learn audience building. Learn sales. Learn trust. Learn positioning. The best machine still needs demand. Fifth, keep ownership. This era may reward equity more than salary. Even small ownership in scalable systems can outperform years of traditional income. And finally, move early. Windows of opportunity always feel uncertain when they're open. Once obvious, they're crowded. Chapter 8. The warning most ignore. Every transformation creates winners and casualties. If you refuse to adapt, the risk is not that robots attack your job dramatically. It's subtler than that. Someone using autonomous leverage outcompetes you quietly. They deliver faster, charge less, market harder, respond instantly, improve continuously. And over time, your traditional model simply becomes non-competitive. This is how disruption usually feels. Not explosive, gradual, then sudden. That is why complacency is expensive right now. Closing, the blueprint. The old path to wealth was linear. Work more hours, manage more people, raise more capital, expand slower, carry more overhead. The new path may be exponential. Build systems, own assets, leverage intelligence, scale globally, operate lean, move fast. The billionaire blueprint is being rewritten in real time, not by those with the most employees, not by those with the biggest offices, not by those clinging to yesterday's model, but by those who understand that intelligence itself is becoming scalable infrastructure. The autonomous company is coming. Some will fear it, some will deny it, some will laugh at it, and a small number of people will build it. The question is simple. When the next generation of wealth is created, will you be watching or will you be participating? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, because the future belongs to those who can see it early, and we're just getting started.